All right, so welcome to the American Dream podcast. This is episode 9. Once again, my name is Daniel Bischoff, and I'm here with.
Mario Lopez.
And today is September 5th. We wanted to talk a little bit more about positive things that are happening in our lives today, and hopefully talk about positive things that we'd like to see in the world that we're about to live in post-election. First of all, I'm working now, and so we were just chatting for a little bit about how we're both been very our mindset has been towards like working a lot more, mainly because we couldn't at some point because of the virus we had to stop working, and our bills didn't stop. So um, once I got back into teaching on May 26th, I just decided that I'm going to work as many hours as I can so that I can start making up for some of the money that I couldn't make during the pandemic or during the quarantine. So that's been the kind of routine I've been going through for the last couple of weeks since May 26th. And as the tennis club is going to transition into the indoor season, so everything will be indoors pretty much, and mainly because it's going to be cold, and also it's going to get darker sooner outside. So I'm excited for that because we open on Sundays as well, and that's another day during the week that I wasn't teaching before, but now I can teach and sort of shift some of my workload a little bit more towards the weekend and spread it out.
Okay.
And I was just mentioning to Mario that I'm starting to necessarily enjoy the way that I'm teaching, but I feel like there's a little bit of I haven't seen any that much progression in my playing. So with the transition going to indoor, one of my plans is to try and make up for all the times, or make up for the times that I necessarily was deciding to work more than play. I'm going to try and find a better balance because I need to. There's a lot of shots and a lot of strokes that I know how to hit, but they're not getting better. And that just only because I haven't been putting any hours on the court trying to practice them.
You know how to do them in your head, but you just have to like translate it more towards doing it more efficiently with like physically.
Right. I mean, I know how to do it physically as well, but because I haven't doing it physically as much, I haven't developed the strength in certain parts of my body. That's also one thing. It's just like getting into the gym more and being able to strengthen some of my muscles that I know that are weak, and they can help me play better and enjoy and feel more stable on the court. And then apart from that, hopefully dive into some new books. So I know I mentioned to you about The Power of Now, which is a book I read about. It's a spiritual book and talks a little bit about alignment. There's another book by the same author, and he talks about, the book is pretty much how you learn about your purpose in life and what you're basically what you're here to do or what you're here for. And those are very interesting topics, and then I wanted to talk about kind of those things a little bit today because they're more on the positive side, considering everything we're seeing on the news is more on the negative
and there's
side.
still some other stuff that happened also as well, but I mean we're it's not that they're not important, but sometimes talking about negative stuff all the time can create like a negative environment within people. So even if those stuff are happening, we don't want to ignore them on purpose, but just for this episode, talk about other things that happen in the world or are part of our lives that are more positive.
So I mean, apart from being excited about tennis, the book is something that I'm also excited about because I'm interested in seeing what kind of insight it's going to give me about how other people have discovered their purpose in life, and once they discover what that purpose was, what are they doing on a daily basis to kind of fulfill that purpose. And a part of me already feels what I know I want to keep doing, which is like mostly teaching tennis. But I started having this feeling and this shift of like playing more. And so not necessarily depending on this book to kind of drive my motivation or determination, but I think it would just give me some kind of clarity. And it's going to give me a way of understanding how to go about fulfilling my purpose in life. Because I think everybody at some point have asked question to themselves, mainly because at some point you were in a position where you had to decide where to move from where you are in life. So like high school or after college, you weren't sure. Like I was pretty sure that I was going to start teaching tennis because I already started teaching tennis sophomore year in college. So towards junior year and senior year, I've already kind of built some kind of clientele. I started learning about what necessarily is like a tennis lesson or how to teach the strokes. So once I pretty much developed a sense of like how to teach, once I graduated, I just went full time and started teaching. It was something that I've enjoyed doing. I don't think there's ever been a day on a court where I'm working with somebody and I didn't really enjoy that I was there. Mainly because I try to remind myself that this is a really cool job and like I wouldn't trade this job for anything else. Maybe there's something out there that might be more exciting, but right now this is like pretty exciting. And it's more exciting because the kids that I started teaching a year or two ago are getting older and they're getting taller and they're getting stronger and they're getting better at the sport. And it's really exciting for me to see that they are growing, you know what I mean? Because I guess I didn't really notice it that much until we had the quarantine and then some of them came back and I was like, that time apart really just made me see you like grow. And I think it's exciting to see that. So
were you always in contact with the people after?
Yeah, I mean, once I found out the club was going to open, I already had a list of all the people I used to teach before we went to quarantine. So I just went through that list and contacted everybody on that list, and reached out to them and see if they were interested in getting back into tennis, whether it be private lessons, group stuff. Some people responded saying yes. Some people responded saying no. Some people didn't respond at all. But overall, I think I got a good response percentage, which is good because some kids that were getting lessons once a week decided to take lessons twice a week.
Oh, okay.
Because
they were probably missing out on some practice, so they wanted
to
catch up.
Right. They wanted to catch up, and then they got even more interested because that was something that was necessarily taken away from them because of the virus.
Okay. Yeah, I guess if you're like at first hesitant, if it's something that is probably like an interest instead of something that maybe your parents are forcing you to do.
Right.
Some of them probably, if they did enjoy it, then they probably missed it and wanted to come back as fast as possible.
Right.
Maybe like how you are right now, where you want to go back and play competitive a little bit more.
Right.
Because you've already been teaching and maybe sometimes you want to be the one that's out there and playing these matches or something like that.
Yeah. I'm starting to be excited about that feeling of potentially having something like that happen on a consistent basis. And that's one of the reasons why I mentioned that I was working a lot more, just to be able to sort of save more money. And if I decide to start playing in any matches and I have to be out of town, I know I'm probably going to miss out on lessons that I have to teach, but I'm planning ahead so that if I do have to take these days off, I know that it's not in vain. Like even though I'm not making money on that weekend, I know that I had worked a couple weeks or a couple months ahead to be able to afford to take the days off that I would work. Yeah.
I had the same mentality. I mean, we didn't struggle as much during the quarantine.
Right.
We were all helping each other, so we didn't like feel any dent in financially really. And then I had like my vacation hours from the work, So I cashed those in and basically got like 2 paychecks at once.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I got the stimulus check, so that helped as well. But then my mom's job paid her twice, I think. 2 full, so a whole month.
Wow.
They paid for the time that she wasn't working, and then the rest, they didn't pay the rest of the months.
Mm-hmm.
But all that stuff helped a little. And I mean, since I was working, it wasn't as much income, but it was better than nothing really.
Right.
Coming in. And then basically we're just saving up now, and we weren't even like planning on getting like a house.
Right.
At all. Not even like this year. And then during the quarantine especially, I mean, that's not something that
right.
one that is probably struggling with maybe paying bills or something. Is thinking about
let's spend more money now.
Yeah. And then coming out of quarantine, I mean, that's when we got back in touch.
Mm-hmm.
And then you mentioned that you were planning on getting a house, and so we had the idea as well, but we weren't like thinking this soon.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, after the quarantine was over, we were really like budgeting everything and not really spending it
right
on anything that wasn't unnecessary. Especially like we used to eat out a lot,
mm-hmm.
and now that I'm working 2 jobs, so it's like it's not even like a option really, because no one's really at home, or if you're hungry, then you just eat at your
work,
job,
yeah.
or grab something after you get off. So that's something that we spend money on, so now it's not much of an issue now.
Right. I mean, same. I mean, I've just been... Well, I already been practicing fasting, so I like to fast during the week till like noon. And so I don't really eat that much until like afternoon, and then like I have like a meal, and then I usually have to head back on the court anyways. So I try to have something that I can digest fairly easily, so it's not anything that's just going to be sitting in my stomach. And then apart from that, that's actually helped me also like save a lot of money, because considering I want to be able to do all these things coming up, I want to be able to make sure I can afford to do that.
Yeah. And I mean, we had like a little bit of money, and then right now we have a lot more than I was expecting, really. So it's really good that we have this much saved up, and then we were able to put down on the house.
Nice.
Or we're able to. And then once we just close the contract, which is pretty soon, I think, if everything goes fine.
Right.
We'll be ready. And then since we already know like how we're gonna budget stuff and not really like spend it on unnecessary things,
right,
it'll help us keep on track with paying the bills and the mortgage and stuff like that.
Right.
Like during my other job, there's like a TV,
right,
like close by, and I've seen like the U.S. Open matches.
Oh.
And I don't see them like all the time, or like specifically watch the matches.
Right.
But I see that they're playing.
Yeah.
And every time I walk past, like, it gives me like an urge to play like a match or two.
Yeah.
Just to hit around, because I haven't done it in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think I did it once in like as soon as like the quarantine was over.
Right. I remember when you told me you and your friend came out with a nice tennis outfit.
We played before then,
and
he would still come out with the matching outfits.
Yeah.
But like that time, he came out everything matching, with the racket, everything.
With the shoes.
Yeah, the shoes, socks.
What? And the socks?
Yeah.
What?
Everything, the hat, everything was matching.
Nice.
But ever since then, I haven't played. But also, I don't have time at all, really. And I can't really do anything much, like activity-wise.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I had a membership for the gym.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I got it before the quarantine, literally like maybe a week before the quarantine started.
Right.
And so I couldn't go at all.
Right.
And then after the quarantine, I went a few times. And then I got other jobs, so I wasn't going to have any more time at all. So I went and canceled it.
Nice.
But they still like, so their policy is that once you notify, it runs another month.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
And they said like I could still use the gym until then,
mm-hmm.
but I couldn't. So because of the other job.
Right.
So I really didn't take advantage of it, and it's probably was a waste of time, or not time. Money.
Right.
That I probably could have just saved up or spent on something else. As far as like competitive wise, are you gonna like sign up for a league or?
Well, for competitive wise, what I wanted to actually do is we have so in the league they have the levels, and the lowest level will be like 2.0 or 2.5, and then so it's like 2.5, 3.0, 3.5, 4.0, 4.5, 5.0.
And what are those numbers like?
So those numbers would be like, so 3.0 would be like, for an adult, it would be like, their level would be like somebody that's okay in high school.
Oh, okay.
But like 4.0 would be like somebody that probably played in college at some point, or played a little bit more competitively. 5.0 is probably most likely like they played in college. They played tournaments regularly. They still play. And then anything above that, they play a lot. Yeah, pretty much. And then the 5.0 league is pretty much a lot of former tennis players that played in like Division 3 sort of.
Oh, okay.
Division 3, not so strong level. Like not so strong, but I mean they're pretty good, but it's not like Ohio State or anything like that necessarily. So which is like a really good level, and I've watched matches and I've seen how they play. And before I didn't really feel confident I'll be able to play, mainly because I hadn't spent that much time on myself, so I didn't feel like it would be fun to even go play because I'll just be like bad.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be able to compete per se. But now I'm starting to get a better understanding of like playing and rallying and understanding how to hit like big shots and stuff like that. So that's given more confidence and also more understanding of how to be in a match that at that level. So yeah, that's pretty much the levels.
How do you know what league you're in?
So well, you have to get rated, so you can go through a rating system, and then they rate you. And then after that, we actually have a 5.0 team at the tennis club that I work. So I'm gonna pretty much talk to like the captain, who I know who he is, and play on the team, and then from there see how it goes pretty much, and then just like try and enjoy playing and be competitive and really try and like play really well. And then if that goes really well, I'm gonna try and do that a little bit more, and then find tournaments during the weekends because that's when they usually are, and then start seeing if I can play some tournaments pretty much, which is like exciting because you get to play with people that play different style, different pace.
Yeah.
And it's just like exciting.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do before.
Yeah.
Because I just like playing it.
Yeah.
Like all the other sports. I like soccer, but not good. So,
you could kick the ball really well, like
kind of, but I mean, I wasn't really good at like passing or dribbling.
Yeah,
or
but
like
you could
my
shoot.
Pace was not good.
You could shoot the ball for sure.
I could shoot, but there was other people that would hit hard.
Yeah, that's true.
I couldn't hit hard.
Yeah.
I was thinking about maybe like goalie.
Goalie?
Yeah. Because when I was younger, I signed up for like this Hispanic team. And I played a little bit. Maybe I think I played like 3 matches. But
As
it wasn't
goalie?
like, no, I was just playing
infield.
Yeah, most of the time it was just like defense or like midfield. But there was like I think there was one game where a goalie was not there or something.
Right.
And then they just put me in. But there was like no action.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like the ball was always on the other side.
So you had a clean sheet and you didn't have to try.
And then there was one instance where it was like a 1-on-1 basically.
Oh.
And he basically had a chance to score. Mm-hmm. But he just like mishit it or something. Mm-hmm. And I ended up blocking it.
What?
And then it was the same game, and then there was another instance, but he hit it hard. And I still managed to block it. And other than that, I don't remember anything else like
right
that was like gonna test like my skills as a goalie. Mm-hmm. But I liked it. I mean, I like blocking. And then even like in elementary, I remember during recess we used to play soccer.
Oh, okay.
And there was a lot of kids, so it would be almost like 11-on-11 basically. Mm-hmm. And we would play a lot, and then I would sometimes get in the goalie position. And I remember this is the only thing I remember from that sort of years of playing with like my friends. It was like a free kick. Mm-hmm. And there was this guy I don't know if he was a show off, but he felt like he was like really good.
Okay. Right?
So he like kicked it. Mm-hmm. And
did you dive?
I don't know why everyone raised their hand.
Oh, for the for the wall.
But we weren't. No. So as the ball passed the wall, mm-hmm. There was like groups of kids there, but they raised their hand. They were playing, right?
Right.
But we weren't playing like official rules, I think.
Okay.
Because they all like raised their hand, and the ball like I could see would graze their like fingertips, right? Mm-hmm. So that's handball.
Right.
But it just kept going like with the force.
Right.
And I was just there. I was looking at it as it was grazing like these little hands.
Right.
And then I don't know, or like I just block it because he for sure like I could tell like he thought it was gonna go in.
Right.
But no.
Nah, you block that. You like get this weak stuff out of here, boy.
Yeah.
That's funny though. No, that's exciting. Yeah, you should. I mean, we're all pretty busy, but at some point, I
mean, how you're saying.
Yeah.
So I picked up this job just to ease the transition, mm-hmm. and then I like the job. It's way better than Cheesecake. Just, I don't get stressed a lot, but it's more easygoing, and I'm getting paid more, so it makes it more of a better option.
Right.
But I'll probably end up leaving it just so I can get time to do other stuff, mm-hmm. and then also focus on going back to take classes.
Right.
That way I can just get out of the restaurant industry and then work on something that I might like better.
Right.
But like the current situation that I'm in, I really don't know like what I want to do exactly, mm-hmm. because nothing like really interests me in a way that I just want to focus on that, right?
Right.
There's like no career path or sort of a job that I want, but just focus on that and see where it leads me to.
Right.
But also just have time to do other stuff, because watching those matches or just seeing them on the screen, mm-hmm. Build up my interest again, mm-hmm. to start playing, and then maybe even hit you up whenever you have a chance.
Right.
And then just us to like play a match or something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would be down for that. I think it's always surprising for me how he usually takes a long time away from the sport, and then like we'll go play, and then like you still got it. I think that's good. And that would be good. Hopefully in the next couple of months, if the numbers don't go crazy and like spike up really bad.
Yeah, especially with kids going back to school.
Right, because that's something that's also sort of at the back of my mind, like really at the back of my mind, because I don't really want to like focus on that right in the next. Even though I know it's the reality is something like that could happen, I want to be able to just like focus on what I can control now.
Okay.
And so, I mean, considering that things will probably go well. Hopefully, I'll be able to have more time, and then you can have more time, and because I don't necessarily want to be working so hard anymore, because I want to be able to just like enjoy playing tennis.
Yeah. That's basically what I'm feeling as well. And it's not that I hate working 2 jobs. Right. I actually don't mind that at all. And coming out of quarantine, it's motivated me a lot. Because before, while I was working, I would only work like 4 days.
Right.
And then out of the 4 days, most of the time I just wanted to leave early. And was waiting for them to just send me home.
Right.
But now, the cheesecake, it's gotten a little bit slower in the mornings because the kids have gone back to school, so sort of like families don't go out
and eat more.
And they're like sending me home early, and I don't even like it.
Like right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So last week they sent me early twice, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The first days, I mean, I just ignored them and I stayed like a few more hours. And then this week, they sent me like before 1 o'clock. And that's like really early because we opened the restaurant at 11.
Wow.
So I was only there for like 4 hours maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just hit up the other job and told them if I could go in early.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in early and I did like maybe like 2 things to help because they were basically done for like the prep.
Okay.
Because it's not open in the mornings.
Okay.
At the other job.
Right.
And then from there on, I just did a little things for my station.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I just stood there for like maybe like 4 hours and did nothing.
Just hanging out.
Yeah. And I enjoy it more because they don't tell you anything. Like they don't tell you to start doing this and that. Because if it was a cheesecake and they see you standing, they grab some for you to do, bro.
Right?
Or
just like
they're just gonna think about sending you home.
We're not having any unproductive people standing around.
Like, I mean, it's not our fault that people aren't coming in, right? So
right,
we're just getting paid to make the food.
Right.
We're not. I'll help you do some stuff when I feel like maybe I want to do something, but
right.
Maybe sometimes we're just like chilling there for a bit because it has been busy a few times. So, but no, they just want to give you something to do all the time.
Right.
So I was just chilling there, and then they had me do like a little course, some courses because I'm a first time buyer, home buyer. So I had to do these classes, and then I think there were like 7 courses. And average maybe like 25 minutes each.
Okay. But it's very informational.
Yeah. At first I was like, this taking so long because I did it like at 11 o'clock after I was home and chilled. And I did like 2 courses. And it took me like an hour and something. So it was slow at the other job. So I just pulled out my phone and just started taking the courses. And then, like, I wouldn't be able to do that at the cheesecake. No, like, I wouldn't even be on my phone, really, because they'll get on me.
Yeah.
But no, over there, I was on the phone doing them. And then whenever I got a check, I would do it and then go back and do the courses. And I ended up finishing the whole entire thing.
Right.
Before I even left.
Well.
Or before I even got off the clock. So I basically just got paid to do the course.
Yeah. No. That's great. That's great news. So, I mean, my parents' house here in Ohio, in Columbus, they pretty much put the concrete down, the pavement for the driveway that leads to like the garage door. So things are like progressing really well. They're starting to build, create more roads inside the neighborhood, and supposedly there's supposed to be a big park across from my house, which is kind of nice because I always wanted to be able to like just walk out of my house and just like go for a walk where there's a lot of trees and it looks like the structure there is going to be really nice like that.
Oh, okay.
Because for where we live now, you have to drive to the nearest good park.
Yeah. And then so where you're located right now, there's like a lot of car traffic.
Yeah. a lot.
Yeah. I don't. Does that like bother you? Maybe.
I mean, it took a while to get used to, man. I didn't notice it at first, and I was like, "Dang, this is a really noisy like street." You know what I mean? Like with the fire station right there. Like the fire station is like right on my street.
Oh yeah.
So if they're going to 270, they're coming down my house. If they're going anywhere like in Worthington, sometimes they come by my house. So I'm hearing the paramedics and fire trucks like coming back.
And even if they don't come towards you,
yeah,
they're like really close.
So they're close enough that when they go the other direction, I can still hear them. Right. But with the new house, we're a little bit more. We're pretty much out a little bit, like 2 or 3 minutes away from any like main street. So the house is a little more inside. And so it's nicer. That's what I like. Yeah. My dad mentioned that that's what he was thinking of when he was picking that area. I didn't realize it, but I was like, that's a great idea because I'm getting tired of getting woken up by the damn sirens, man.
There's no fire station nearby.
No, there's no fire station nearby. I mean, hopefully the house won't burn down, but it's not. But there's no fire station nearby to be waking me up in the middle of the night. Yeah. And the streets aren't busy even around like 9 p.m. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Were you always living in that area?
Dude, I've been living there since freshman year of high school.
Yeah, because I thought you moved for some reason.
I did move, but I just moved like around the corner, man. So where I live now, at the stop.
Oh, I remember. Yeah. Didn't you live in like you would go in, and then it would be like a lower level one. Was it a lower level?
No, there was no lower level.
No, was it just one level?
It was one level, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
mean. Yeah.
It wasn't like a 2-story.
No, it wasn't a 2-story.
Because the one right now is 2-story?
Yeah, it is 2-story.
Yeah. So the other one, I remember, was just 1 story.
Yeah, it was.
And it was like attached to another one.
Yeah.
I think it was like a L shape.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I lived there through, I guess, junior year of high school. And then we moved to the other one as I think going to like senior year of high school.
Oh, okay.
Then I lived there through, I went to college for 2 years, came from college the last 2 years and stayed at home. And we've been living there. So we're excited to move. I mean, my mom's excited. She's always excited to show me the pictures of what the house looks like. I'm like, yeah, it's great. I'm excited too.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
I'm excited too. My mom was the one that went in for the open house.
Yeah.
And I told her, if you like it, I know I'm going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do like it, send me a text as soon as possible so I can message the real estate agent and tell him that I want to make an offer for a house.
Okay.
And literally, so the open house started at 2. Literally, maybe 5 minutes later, I got a text saying, tell her.
Yeah, we don't want this one.
Yeah. And I hated that day because it was really slow. It was a Sunday. It was really slow cheesecake. And then as soon as it hit around 12, or not 12, 2, it got really busy. and I was just not pissed, but I was just a little bit upset because it was really slow. And then as soon as the open house is starting, and I need to look at my phone,
right,
and to see if my mom texted me or if I needed to text the real estate agent,
right,
just to be in communication,
right. And then it
just got busy out of nowhere, and I barely had time to text and stuff,
right,
because she sent me the text, and then I answered 15 minutes later, and then I sent the real estate agent text. So luckily, with the real estate agent, she's really nice, and I just text her, and then she answers really quick.
That's good.
It's not like I have to send an email and then maybe the next day she'll answer and stuff like that.
Couple of business days, yeah.
Yeah, texting, and then she calls me, but I was busy, so I told her that once I got out of work, I was gonna call her. And so I called her, and then we talked about making the offer, and I just made the highest possible offer there that I could make. And luckily we were in the backup, like I said.
Right.
And then now we're almost closing the contract.
Yeah, that's exciting, man. That's great because.
Oh, and the reason I brought that up was, so I haven't seen inside the house.
Okay.
So, I like to plan out how I want to set things up in a room.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I can't do that.
Right.
And that's something that I'm like eager to just go inside. That way I can see how I want to set up everything.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe something that I had in mind wasn't going to work out, so I can adjust.
Right.
Because I really like sort of, it's not decorating, I guess, but sort of organizing stuff in a way.
Right.
Like right now, I mean, I have a lot of shit here.
I mean, your room is for sure more organized than mine. A nice touch with the fancy stuff over here.
What?
The makeup stuff.
Oh, the makeup stuff. Yeah. I had to like figure out a way because my girlfriend moved in, so I was thinking like the days leading up to it, how I was gonna set up everything, and I was thinking of moving because I had like a little drawer here by me, and I was trying to see if my computer could fit on top.
Right.
And it couldn't, and then it wouldn't even fit in the gap. But then her like little like I don't know what a shelf thing is. It managed to barely fit.
Right.
And then it's a little bit wider, so the computer can actually be on top. And then I was able to like literally just move everything else and then just give her a little space for her makeup shit.
Yeah.
And then she had like this shelf.
Nice.
And she set it like standing upwards.
Right.
And
it was taking too much.
And she's put it right there by the poster.
It wasn't lined up right.
And I was looking at it. I was like, that shit is not symmetrical. Because right now I have the little like, what would you call that thing?
The board?
Yeah, it's like a hanging board, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost symmetrical with the TV. Where the edges almost meet up with the edges of the TV.
Yeah.
And then this like little shelf thing
right under
that
the
holds
TV.
up my games.
Yeah.
Is right in the middle.
Yeah.
And then that little shelf is like
on a corner.
It's on the right, like offsetting everything.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at it, and then I tell her, "Are we able to just are these? Because she has these little, what would you call it? Totes or something inside.
Baskets.
Yeah, foldable baskets that can fit inside the shelves.
Right.
And I asked her if they were like squares or not, and not rectangles. She said, "Yeah, they're squares." So I tell her, then just tilt it over that way. It's like straight. Then up. You can get more space because she had like, so it's let's imagine it's like maybe like 2 feet by 3.5 or something like that. She had the shorter end up top, so she was putting stuff and crowding it.
Right.
And there wasn't much space.
Right.
So when she flipped it over, it just created more space. Oh. So she was able to organize.
Right, which is I can see now. Yeah.
And that just like was something that was bothering me, and I managed to find a way to.
I mean, you do pretty well with the way you organize things. Maybe you should just.
Well. So remember, like in high school, we went to did you go to Fort Hays, and then what was the other one?
Columbus downtown.
Yeah. No, did you go to the visits?
No.
No.
Wait. I went to.
We never went to like just to see how it was there, and then.
I think we went to. And I'm not sure which one we went to. We went to one of them. I can't remember which one.
I went to both.
Oh, you went to both?
Yeah.
Well, did we? I don't know. I know I went to one. I know I went to one of them with you. I don't know if I remember. I don't remember if I went to both of them with you.
Oh, okay.
Because one of them had
because we just took a field trip as a class. I think.
Yeah, one of them had. Which one has the what do you call it? They had like more like the trading jobs. So like if you wanted to be like
they're both like that.
Oh, they're both like that?
Yeah.
No, more one of them was more towards like the arts, like on the educational arts, like if you want to be like a dancer.
Oh, that was Fort Hays, I think.
Okay, that was Fort Hays. Okay.
Yeah. So Fort Hays had like those programs.
Right.
And I think it was only half day.
Yeah.
And then Columbus downtown.
Right. Was it? That's
you
where
basically like.
Is that where Brandon on the tennis team?
I don't remember. No, because Brandon was taking classes in beach golf.
Nobody.
I think he went to Voorhees.
Okay.
I think it was. I don't know who went, but.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Columbus downtown was basically like changing high schools. Because they had their lockers, then they had rooms for like math class or something like that.
Right.
But then they had classes like, I think they had like a IT one. That one really interested me.
Right.
Which, I don't know. Looking back now, I don't know if it would have been like a good option to go. Because I know our teachers that we had wanted or encouraged us to take like the APs and the CAPs.
Right.
And we were going to miss out on that.
Right.
But looking back now, those classes really didn't help much because I didn't end up like going to colleges and stuff.
Right.
Or even like right out of high school.
Right.
Going to a college.
Right.
So it wasn't like something beneficial.
Right.
And then I never like wanted to focus on like English sort of major or history and stuff like that. And but for Voorhees, I went into the interior design. And they had like an image. It was like basically like a little paper.
Right.
They had an image of I think it was like a living room. And it looked very like modern, sort of like futuristic a little bit, design wise. And basically they just had you like copy it on a blank little page.
Okay.
And I did it. And then the guy, I don't know if he's the instructor, but he really liked my recreation of it. And then wanted to like contacted me whenever they wanted to have like an open house.
What?
And I was thinking about doing it because I really like organizing stuff and like sort of setting it up in a way in a room. But because we were more encouraged to stay at Beechcroft, I basically ignored it.
Right.
And then even if I wanted to go to another like what is it called?
Careers.
Some I don't know.
They call it.
It's like a career like thing that you take in high school, and I wasn't gonna lean towards that. I would have leaned towards the IT one,
right?
Because they were talking about hacking and then like taking PS4s and hacking like some shit, and like building computers and stuff, and that more interested me more, way more. But I guess I got sort of persuade to not go that route,
right,
and just stay at Beechcroft.
Right. I mean, I think with your mind, either way, I mean, you managed to finish high school, which is not that hard. I mean, in a sense, but like I think that if you put your mind onto IT or interior, you could actually still do it.
Yeah,
because I can see the way you like to.
I just like a variety of stuff.
Yeah.
And if there's something that I want to do,
right,
or interests me, I can do it and then be not like the best, but be good at it. And I've seen that with the restaurant. I'm pretty good with like doing stuff that I had no experience in ever. Right. And then with tennis as well, how we talked about, I was never even played it, and I managed to play for the team.
Right.
And I don't know, there's like other stuff, but yeah, how you were saying that if I maybe now want to maybe look up doing like interior designing, maybe classes, or even with the IT, which is one of
the ladies I teach at the country club, she's actually like in that field.
Oh, okay.
So like if you get a little more interested and you want to learn how to go through that route and stuff like that, just let me know. I could. She's like awesome. Like I teach her, and she's great because she's always like trying to get better, and asking me things that she can do. And she enjoys the sport enough to like watch it enough and like pay attention to like shots and players and stuff like that. And so it's very exciting to teach. It really is exciting to teach people that are that interested, because they do things outside of the court that can help them be better players and even enjoy the sport more.
Yeah.
Where half the kids that I teach don't watch.
Oh, okay.
I know. It's really weird, because I really do think like I'm a little bit nerdy with this tennis thing, because everything that I know and I'm involved in for the last couple of years has been like tennis. Like,
okay.
Tennis, playing tennis, teaching tennis, like even the clothes that I wear are all tennis. Whenever I'm speaking about something, it's probably about tennis, honestly. The way tennis has really like changed my life in the way that like I even take care of my body, because I want to keep playing tennis. I even eat differently. I'm wanting to work out. I'm wanting to even like push myself to put myself in positions to compete. All those things I didn't really think that tennis will ever like instill in me to try and do, but it has. And so sometimes when the kids don't watch, I'm just like, you don't watch? Like, I don't think you understand how insanely cool it is, some of the things that they do, like athletically. It's not that easy. Like, I think that it's really difficult to become a tennis player versus maybe, I think like soccer, you can hang because you have a team. A lot of the individual sports is very difficult. Like boxing, it's incredibly difficult to be like really good.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Chess.
Yeah, because you don't really have to rely on like teammates. You said.
Right.
It's just you, and if you make mistakes, it's your fault.
It's your fault.
And if you don't practice right, it's your fault.
Right.
You can't have like a team that guides you.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to be out there playing.
Right.
And if you make mistakes,
They're
your mistakes.
Yeah.
For not practicing, for doing things the right way.
Right.
Sometimes you can't avoid it. Maybe it's the better player.
Right.
But overall, mistake-wise, it's always going to be your fault.
Right.
And not anyone else's.
Right. Some people, some of the kids I teach, I know I can tell that they can develop the sense of feeling that they can be comfortable with the fact that like they have this kind of responsibility. Some of them not really sure if they even feel like that determined to like play on a level that I'm teaching them to be able to do. But my job pretty much is what I try and focus on is, I have people who are really interested in getting better. I teach them and they get better. There are some kids that don't know if they want to be really good at it. I still teach them the way I teach other people that are really interested, because there could be a day where maybe one day they pick up the remote and open the TV and watch YouTube and see a player do something really cool, and then they really understand how incredibly difficult that they can assume that it was for that person, well, for them to do, versus how easy it looks for the other person to do, and then maybe like sparking more interest and be like, I want to be able to like do something like that. And in that instance, when that mentality changes, they've already got a good foundation. So now it's just going to be put more hours on the court.
Can you tell when you're teaching which kids are there because their parents are making them, or some kids that are
I can. Luckily, I don't have any right now necessarily.
Oh, okay. You've had before?
I had one at some point, but I just had to teach that lesson, man, because this is like, I was trying to help the kid, but it's like we're having arguments all the time. I'm just like, is this really worth my time? I don't care that we're gonna argue, but if you're gonna get better, I'm willing to argue with you. But like, if you're not gonna get better and we're gonna argue, it's just like waste of time. There's no point. And so that's where it's just like, I'm either in a position to try and get them to feel self-motivated, and make them realize that whatever they think that they can do, they can actually do it. They just have to really be interested in it. And you know what I mean? It's just, so there's certain things I just learned will come from the fact that like I was a new teaching pro, so I don't really have the ability to turn down people who are interested in lessons because I want to start teaching. But now I can be like, no, I don't want to teach that lesson. Not because, but mainly because I already have enough people that I'm teaching that this could be like this hour out of my week isn't necessarily going to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
And if they're at a certain, if they don't have that much interest, then it's going to be a little bit difficult because now I have to try and push them to be able to like it. And it's difficult for people to progress in the sport when you're not interested, because it just seems like I'm telling you what to do and you don't want to do it. You know you're here and you know that you're here and you should be doing it, but you're not doing it.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah.
But have you practiced shots recently? Or ever? Like whenever they hit that in between shot.
Oh, the tweener?
Yeah.
Okay, so there are some shots that as I've gotten better at just like rallying and playing, I've learned the timing of it. So I don't know how to hit the tweener, like chasing the ball that goes behind me and I have to go run and hit it. But if there's a ball coming right in front of me and I can set my feet up and just like go behind the back and hit it. Oh, like that one is pretty easy. I can do that off a ground stroke. I can be at the net and do it. I've learned how to do it.
At the net?
At the net. So like somebody hits the ball and I have to volley. So instead of like going to volley like this, I can go a volley like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then
I don't know. I was just thinking that the ball was higher. And I was thinking, how was he gonna do that?
No. So then right, the ball is coming. It's coming over the net. It dips, and I just go.
Okay.
Right, and then I can also go behind the back with my right arm. So like, if the person instead of going for a backhand volley, if they hit it, I can just go behind the back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's.
But you haven't tried. Have you tried the one that Federer did?
Which one? No, I have tried it. I haven't really like practiced it. Maybe I'll practice it a couple more times because I can understand the timing. It's just you have to try and time it in how fast you run, slow down, and hit. Because a lot of people just run and then they hit
and try.
Right, but you have to.
And then
run.
Sometimes they don't do like a wider stance.
Right.
To allow like the racket to have room to be able to hit.
Right. But no, that part is not that hard. The hard part is like seeing the ball, chasing it down, sprinting, and then slowing down to hit the shot. That's the hard part. And then apart from that, I mean, drop shots are not that hard. Maybe like drop volleys that spin back into the net. That's something that I've been working on a little bit. And then the serving, I can hit my serve and make it go like whatever direction I want. But I can also try to make it spin from moving from the left to the right. Kind of like a lefty serve. Curve? Yeah, it's kind of like a lefty serve.
Oh, okay. So you're serving regular, right?
Right.
And then you hit it cross court, but instead of
it going diagonal
right to left,
it goes left
the other way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that would throw something.
That, and then also, I mean, I've been working on trying to hit the one and backhand a lot. Yeah. And so the last couple of weeks, the last 2 weeks, we have a really nice ball machine at the country club. So I've just been there either early in the morning or like late at night where it's like dark, nobody's there, lights on, just work on swinging through the ball and understanding how to hit it. Because I understand how to do it. I just haven't put that many reps in. So then when I go play, when I set my feet up, I know that I've hit this shot before. And if I'm going to make it, I know how to time it well.
Okay.
So it's a lot of it has to do with having your eyes work on the timing a lot. And if you're not putting in that many reps, then your eye doesn't get used to that timing. Right. And then because once you get your timing right, you can hit the ball like anywhere really well. Yeah.
But the timing would change, right, for different opponents, right?
Yeah. I mean, when you're playing, if you're playing, I mean, the tempo of the rally can change. So the tempo of the rally can go fast, slow. But I guess the pace of the ball can change depending on the level of that you're playing. So the ball moving slower, the ball comes back faster. Points could be shorter. You start seeing certain shots a little bit more than often in certain levels. And something that I actually started learning to do and I enjoy more is like serving, volleying. So serve and volley.
Oh.
So like you serve and instead of hitting the ground stroke, you get to the net and volley. It's really fun. Like it's one of the fun things that I've learned to do, because when you get to the net, you can if you do it really well,
yeah,
it's really fun.
There's like this app, a tennis app.
Okay.
It's like a virtual game.
Right.
But I think I kind of see what you're trying to say. You like serve. Mm-hmm. I serve, but like at an angle.
Right.
So the guy moves out of the court.
Right.
And I'm already up at the net. So as soon as he hits it, I'm right there ready.
Right.
Hit it to where
the open space. Yeah, the open space. Yeah. It's really fun because if you know how to do it really well, you can have people like chasing down a lot of balls. You can have them really feeling. You
can frustrate them sometimes.
You can frustrate them because there's no rallying.
No.
It's just like 3 shots. So you either hit the serve really well, after you hit the serve, hit a really good volley, and then maybe another volley and overhead, or you're going to get passed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it happens fast, but it's really exciting because it's like I have to hit a really good shot to put you on defense. And if I don't, then you're automatically on offense, and then now you got to hit a really good shot, and I'm at the net though, so you got to hit a really good shot to get it past me. Yeah. And it's kind of confrontational, but that's what makes it exciting because I'm like right in your face. So if you're gonna hit the ball, you better hit it well, or else the next ball that's coming back to you isn't going to be easy for you. Yeah. It's exciting in that way. That, and then I mean I've played around hitting with two hands a little bit just to understand how it works. Because I teach it, but I don't know. Oh, I don't have the strength to do it, but I know I can understand. Like if you want me to teach you how to hit it, I can teach you how to hit it. Mm-hmm. But I don't have enough arm strength and practice to be able to do it for myself because I've already been hitting with the one hand so much. So that's something.
How do you not have like the arm strength? Because it's 2 hands.
It is 2 hands, but
are you putting more strength with this?
No, because you have to use both hands, and I don't know how to use my left and my right hand at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
So you've just been accustomed to...
I've just been accustomed to hitting with one hand, which I wanted to do anyways. But the reason why...
I've only seen you do one hand. It's really...
And the only reason why I wanted to learn it more, the 2 hand, is because I wanted to notice or kind of like pay attention to the things and that I see that people that are learning brand new struggle with, where they're feeling awkwardness in their arm that I'm feeling, to be able to relate to them. And then once I'm able to see the way I move my arm to correct how to feel the ball better and hit it better. Then when they're like, my arm feels this way, I'm like, do this way. And then I can like help them get better at it. Not necessarily for me to like develop the stroke all the way, unless I have to, but I just wanted to get a better understanding of like the way it feels.
The serves, are you more consistent with serves?
Yeah, I mean serve consistency has gotten so much better. Maybe serve power is something that I haven't been doing enough, so then it's gonna be difficult for me to be more accurate with power. But I can pretty much hit like targets on a court. Like I don't have to necessarily think too much. I can put the ball very well in the area and then keep adjusting till I hit my target. But it's not like I'm missing my target by a lot because I can see. I've paid attention so much about watching the ball move on the court that I can see lines and trajectories of where if I hit the ball and the ball's moving this way over this side of the net, I know it's going to try and fall in this area. So then if it's in this area, if I'm trying to hit the target, I'm either hitting the target too short, which is in front of it, behind it, to its left or to its right. So I'm just pretty much aiming in that area, and then eventually I'm able to knock down the target.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But power is... You haven't practiced it, right?
I haven't been practicing with enough power, mainly because a lot of power takes energy. And so, and more power and pace behind the ball requires more precision and more accuracy. And that's not something that I have practiced personally. Like the accuracy is there, but it's not there with a lot of like acceleration pretty much. But it's I know how to do it. I just haven't done it enough pretty much. Okay. Yeah.
But recently you haven't played matches, right?
No, I haven't necessarily played a match in forever.
Oh, okay.
Like that is like it's scheduled.
But maybe like
practicing.
Just with
yeah, I
someone.
mean, I like practice sets, like hit with somebody and play a set. I've done that. I've been doing that whenever I have the chance. One of the guys that I actually hit with consistently, he went to a tennis academy in one of the Carolinas.
Oh, okay.
So since he's there, I've been pretty much hitting with the ball machine just so I can I mean, like keep getting better, because I know where he is. He's there for a semester, which is a couple of weeks. So he's like playing tennis pretty much every day and lifting and working.
He's just there temporarily then?
He's there, not temporarily. He's there for the semester of the tennis academy.
Here?
Not here. It's in Carolina.
Oh, he's over there.
Yeah. So he's
okay. So the guy you would hit sets with is at Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Now. Oh, okay.
Right.
I thought he took classes there and is here.
No.
And sort of you practice with him. So.
No. So I used to practice with him pretty much like every like 4 days out of the week. And he enjoys playing, so we'll just get together, we'll practice shots like cross court, down the line, volleys, overhead, all those things. Like we practice strategically and systematically, because we're trying to just get better at just hitting the shot only. But since he's been gone, I've just been using the ball machine, which is kind of nice because it's just me. And usually when I'm there, it's really early in the morning. The weather's really nice, or it's at night. The weather's still nice. And I like that it's quiet and there's nobody there, and all I can think about is like one ball at a time. It's almost like I'm meditating pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Because there's nobody there, and that's the only thing I'm focused on. And I've been enjoying doing it. That's something that I'm going to plan to do until the weather gets too cold for me to be outside, honestly. And it's almost like I've been enjoying it a lot more, because it kind of reminds me of just like, pretty much feels like, in a weird way, like just going for a walk somewhere and being alone and just enjoying the walk.
Okay.
Same feeling, except I'm just like working on something the entire time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going back to like competitive wise.
Right.
So you just need to talk with the captain and
so
see if you can be part of like the team.
Be part of the team, because there are already guys on the team. But I don't know. I'm not sure who he would love to be just like playing in certain positions. So I just need to get better enough that I feel that like if I ask him, he's gonna be like, yeah, like you can play, because we in a sense, because I mean I don't want to go play and then not be prepared, and then like we're losing all the time. It would just be like annoying, like this guy wanted to play and he doesn't even practice type.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So once like you're part of a team and then you play like another team.
Yeah.
And then based on who wins what court, that's how it's like.
Yeah, so there are 2 doubles matches and then 1 singles match.
Okay.
So then I mean they play pretty much all the other 5-0 level teams, which are pretty much a lot of them are like the teaching pros are at a tennis clubs. So it's like fun, because that like you're playing against people that teach tennis, but they also know how to play tennis.
Okay.
So it's like a fun environment, and all the guys are fun. They hit like cool shots. They actually play and they try to enjoy it, and that's why it's exciting. And that's why I'm excited for it, to be able to just like compete.
Is that the only way that you can do competitive?
No, I mean I can sign up for USTA tournaments, but that would be probably out of town, a couple of days on the weekend. Traveling on the road, so that is something that may be far ahead as I keep enjoying and hopefully get better enough where I feel like I can go out and play, and maybe like once I get better enough, I wouldn't necessarily have that feeling. I would know that like, you know, if I go play, I will have a good enjoyable experience competing wise.
Let's say I wanted to do like what is it called,
the what?
Not the USTA.
The 5-0 team.
5-0?
Yeah.
No, not 5-0. Is it just called 5-0 team?
I mean, it's, pretty much.
So let's say I wanted to do like the 2.5 team.
Right.
How would I go about that?
I mean, first of all, there aren't that many 2.5 teams.
Okay.
So if you want to play...
Well, let's say I just wanted to play against other people. Maybe not join a team.
And not join a team?
Yeah. Let's say there's not many teams.
Then you just have to like, for that there's an app for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like the reason why the team wise is because people they just have a couple people who are interested in playing together, so then they just play together. That's like the team aspect.
Yeah.
And they play, and if they do really well in the season, they get to move on and play longer and play for and play possibly like other teams from other cities too,
okay.
depending on how well you do. So it can get competitive enough, like you can go to like nationals, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
how would I go about that?
So first of all, a lot of teams have practice. You don't have to come to practice unless you're going to practice by yourself, which is fine. But all the teams have a practice, and the teams practice once a week, and they have a match once a week.
Okay.
They have an official practice day that you can sign up, and then there's a pro there to feed balls. You guys can work on drills, and then on either the weekend, one of the weekends, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, there are matches, and then you just play your match, and that's how it goes for like every week for the season. And then the better, like however well your team places during the league or whatever, that determines whether you get to go further and play like sectionals and districts and all that stuff. So it's a fun experience.
Are people able to, let's say they get better and improve, are they able to do like the other, like
move
maybe
up a level?
step up? Yeah,
for sure.
And how do you know how that works?
It depends on how, like, if you're like in a 3-0 league and you're winning every week easily, they're gonna be like, yeah, this is not competitive enough, so
they're gonna move you up.
You're gonna get rated up because you're just doing so well.
Okay. So if I get rated up, do I personally have to go and find a team for that rating, or do they assist me?
You don't necessarily, I guess, need assistance, because you will probably have an idea of what the other level teams are, because some of the matches like go back to back. So there could be like a 3-0 match 2 hours before your 3-5 match. You will probably see the teams that are on the 3-5 match or the 3-0 match, and then if you get better, you can just be like, hey, I've been playing on this blah 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 level. I just got rated up. Do you have room on your team for me to play? And then if they say yes, you join the team, you join their practice, you start playing matches for that leveled team.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how you're saying with your team, you say it's one singles?
Yeah.
And then one doubles?
Two doubles.
Two doubles
matches and one singles match.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What if, so they have to have, the team has to be the amount of numbers you need for those matches? Or can you have like more members where they just
you can have more. It's actually better to have more, because a lot of them are adults that work, so there are some of them have availability to play for some matches and some don't. So then you can fill in and play some. Some people will just be like, I don't want to play this weekend because I haven't practiced, or I'm not like I haven't practiced, so it's
I'm not conditioned or something.
Right. So then it's not fair. I don't feel like I should play, or I don't want to play because I haven't practiced, and it can be simple as that. So then maybe you've been practicing, then you just fill in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when it's the matches, it's only those that are playing that are participating. There can't be like, I don't know, like an exhibition between other players that are
no, because they only put on, especially because these matches happen, and when they're scheduled for whatever club,
there's more teams,
right? There's more teams, but because in the league they only played these courts, this number of matches on the court. So like, you're not gonna have an exhibition match ever.
Okay, I see.
Because they're like, that's the structure of the league. The league is like, we have to have 2 doubles matches, 1 singles match. No need for exhibition match.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to play an exhibition match, I mean, an exhibition match is an exhibition match. It doesn't count for anything. So you can just play with whoever. But
okay,
yeah.
I got it.
I know it's a very interesting structure.
Where do I look for like a team?
I mean,
Google?
you don't have to Google. I mean, if you want to play, you can just call any of the tennis clubs and tell them you're interested in playing tennis on a team. And then they'll be like, okay, well, do you know what level you are? And then if you don't know what level, they'll be like, okay, why don't you go rate yourself? Get back to us.
How do I rate myself?
There's a rating system. There's a rating system you can do on the USTA website. So you can go there and they'll ask you questions like, did you play in high school? Did you play in college? Did you do this? Did you do that? And then from those answers, they determine what level you are. But that's why I'm saying then you can level up if the level was too low based on the answers that you gave from the questions.
Okay. Yeah. So I might do that then.
Yeah. I mean, for sure, it's fun, it's competitive, and it's a good workout. So yeah. And half the time the guys would just be done and they'll drink beers. So if you're into that, that's great. So now maybe we can transition. It's been about an hour. We can transition a little bit more onto with the election coming up. I mean, I would like the election to just go well and fair. And apart from that, hopefully whoever is going back into position, it shouldn't be as bad as it is now. I mean, considering, it's not, I don't think it's that easy for any president, whether it be Donald Trump or anybody else, to be able to handle the pandemic because nobody's necessarily prepared for it.
No, I think the most important thing is for whatever like personal political views that you have.
Right.
Not just like the average person, but mainly the ones that are in government positions.
Mm-hmm.
They should really not be put their like pride aside and their ego aside.
Right.
Because sometimes they're so like set in their mindset with their own political views.
Right.
Or have this sort of
strong
opinion towards a figure.
Right.
Mainly with Trump.
Right.
Where
remember we talked about how easy it is before you get targeted.
Yeah. and hated as well.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever he's trying to do like something good, just because he's someone that most people disagree with or hate, then you feel like the necessity to do the same. And even if he's trying to do something good, you just sort of ignore him.
Right.
Because that's what's been happening with like the riots.
Mm-hmm.
So the cops aren't really involved, right? And Trump wants to send in like federal help. Send in the National Guard and then federal agents.
Right.
And then the governors are saying no. They're like basically denying his help.
Right.
That way they can like sort of control just the bad stuff that's happening. I mean, there's people out there who are probably protesting peacefully.
Right.
But just focusing on the ones that are actually damaging property and stuff.
Right.
And he's offered like to send in help, but they don't want it.
Right.
And they blame him because they're saying that this is like his America. But he's trying to fix it, and you're not granting him the ability to do it.
Right.
And most of the states are like democratic states.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you can like clearly see that it's like a personal issue maybe with parties.
Right.
Where you're a Democrat, so if you accept help from the Republican Trump, then you're basically like a traitor or something, or you're not being consistent, or you're like supporting him.
Yeah.
When you just want assistance because there's chaos out there. But no, they stay with their pride and ego, and ignore him basically.
Yeah.
And then days pass by, and then you're out there saying that you need help from the president.
Right. It's a tricky position to be, but
but whoever's up there, like you said, everything hopefully is fair, and there's no sort of drama or a scandal with counting vote count and stuff like that.
I mean, I'm interested to see the debates, like listen to debates. And I feel like every time I listen to debates, but if it is, I hope that it's not getting into like a little like roast session, man, because it always seems like at this point now it seems more like it's like more like a roast session than putting your plans out and then countering, or putting your plans out and why you think they would work, and then you guys going back and forth and arguing about that specific thing, versus like somebody going back and forth like, well, you got $2 million houses. So, but it's like also tricky because they're both they're both putting themselves in a position to point out things about each other that isn't.
Well, I think there's an extent to that,
right?
Where maybe you should bring out some stuff that hasn't been talked about, that should be talked about,
right?
Scandalize, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like a limit where you can like maybe just point it out once,
mm-hmm.
and just say that, well, maybe this subject hasn't been brought up,
right?
And you've been supporting it, or this happened,
right?
While you were in office, or you were doing these things, right, while you were saying other stuff,
right?
But used in a way to, sort of like, to point be out, like something that helps your argument,
right,
with like a policy,
right?
Or,
like a policy.
Have it be tied into that,
right.
Not just oh, you touch women and that's it. Like there's not something that's gonna follow with that, right, and sort of.
Not saying that if they touch women that isn't that's okay,
or
for that person to do
something that shouldn't be brought up,
right?
But when it's a debate that's for a position that is for the country,
mm-hmm,
then you should be more focused on stuff that's gonna help better the country,
right,
and fix certain issues that are going on,
right.
Not just for 4 years,
right,
but something that is in place that can help grow this country, mm-hmm, into being a stronger and better nation,
right,
for many years, not just for
right, many years, and hopefully have the country be better for everybody that's living here. Because like I wasn't living here and I came here and I was like, man, certain people aren't treated well here, or the system hasn't been structured for certain people to be more successful than others.
I never felt. I don't know why, but I didn't feel that.
Well, I mean, how much have we been trying to be able to go to try and be in positions where stereotypically there aren't people that look like us in those positions? Because if we try to go in those positions, that's where we will see if there's any pushback.
What do you mean positions?
Like, well, this is for example, like there aren't that many male nurses, right?
Yeah.
Right. But how would you know if people felt it wasn't okay for males to be nurses if you haven't tried to be a male nurse and you've gotten pushback from certain people that are like against male nurses? Yeah, right. You know what I mean?
I feel, well, with that issues, I mean, people are already in a mindset, or certain demographics are already sort of leaned towards certain areas.
Right.
It's not that some people go into this area and are rejected.
Right.
And then they have to go to this area because they're going to be accepted.
Right.
It's mostly that people are leaning towards that.
Right.
So most women lean towards the medical field and specifically nurses, where not maybe like a male, maybe certain people want to be nurses,
right,
and they manage to do it, but the majority of them probably want to do other stuff, maybe engineering or lawyers, or maybe they do want to do medical field, but they do something like at a higher position, not just a nurse, but maybe a surgeon or something like that.
Right.
But I feel like those demographics or certain positions where they lack some sort of demographic, I feel like they do accept it.
Right.
Because whenever like there's maybe a girl in an engineer class, they get more attention, or they probably are going to get a better position if the person they're against is probably a male. Why? Because they want to have a variety of demographics. Right. So they're going to be lean towards getting the one that they sort of lack. Right. I was applying for jobs before because I wanted to leave the cheesecake, and I saw that there's like a nursing home. Not, is it nursing home?
Assisted living.
Assisted living, yeah. And
same thing.
Really close by, it's called Friendship Village.
I know that. Hobita used to work there.
Yeah, so I saw they were hiring. They had like a sign. Yeah. So I went in there and applied, and I was just reading like the jobs that they had open, but I wasn't really understanding them because I wanted to do. I think Hobita was, what was she just helping the people get their pills and stuff like that? Like when she first started.
I know she at first, when she first started, she had to do certain, like run certain errands like that. I'm not sure if she's doing that now. I haven't talked to her in a while.
Yeah, so. But that's sort of like I probably wanted to do something like what she was doing because I have no experience in like the medical field. Right. So I wasn't gonna be like doing like nurse stuff with the patients or the people that were.
Well, you're hoping that you wouldn't be required to do certain things like that.
Yeah, or like be told to do it because I'm not certified. Right. So as I'm reading the descriptions, I see like maybe some like the job descriptions, and I read them and see, oh well, this is something maybe that I would like to do. Mm-hmm. So I check it, and then they like say like qualifications or something. Yeah. I just check something, and then I give it back to the secretary. Yeah. And then she like looks at it, and then she's like really surprised and like happy or something. Mm-hmm. So she runs quick to like the office, right?
We got one.
And then she comes back because I think she had told me first that, oh, we'll contact you if you're gonna come in for like an interview, right? Right. But she had run into the office, and then she came back and she said, "Are you available now? Like, what to interview?" Like, and I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I walk into the office, right?
Same day you signed it.
Like, I literally just handed her paper, and then they were already wanting to interview.
They should have put, "We're hiring now."
Yeah. And then, so I go into the office, and the lady's there, right? And so she asked me questions and stuff, basically like in her interview. Mm-hmm. And then, because I had filled out the form really weird, mm-hmm. So I guess there's nurse certifications, right? There's like one, you get a certain pay, and then if you get the other one, it's a higher pay. And she said that I had checked that I was the higher position, but that I was applying for the lower pay position.
What?
Yeah, so she at first asked me that, and I like told her, no, I'm not a nurse. Oh, okay. Because we thought you were like a nurse or registered.
Oh, so they were excited.
Yeah, so because they hadn't had male nurses, and they were excited and surprised that I was a nurse. Supposedly.
You should have been like, "I'm not a nurse, but I'm down to be a nurse."
And so she like said, "Oh well, we have like they have like a kitchen." Because I had experience with that.
What?
And they said, well, we have that if you wanted to apply, but you would have to apply differently. And that was it. Like, I just walked out, and I kind of felt like it was a little bit awkward because they like got really excited, and I felt like I looked kind of like if I was lying or something, mm-hmm. or if I did it on purpose. Right. When I really wasn't like sure what I was checking, because it was like abbreviations. So I was like, I'll just check because I like the description.
Have you ever flipped a car before? Nah, but I'm down to flip a car.
Yeah, but that just relates to how there's like certain jobs, and when they lack a certain demographic, mm-hmm. they'll accept you really quick. So not all the time, but if you have the qualifications, mm-hmm. if they see that you have experience in your work, then if there's another one we'll just use nursing again, but if a woman applies and then I apply and we have the same sort of qualifications, mm-hmm. they're probably going to lean towards me maybe because...
That is if they're trying to fulfill their demographic.
Yeah. Right. but I don't think there's like certain areas where they sort of or positions where they want to like block you off or not take you in because you're a certain demographic.
Right.
Perhaps in certain areas they might seem that way, but I don't think.
Right. I mean, it's like I said, we both maybe because we both haven't been in a position where we've like been qualified, but then you don't like they turn you down and you have no clue why they would turn it down, considering they have everything. So then that may be like why you might have like a follow-up question. It's just like, what is it about? Because I'm qualified to do it, but maybe it's something about am I a shitty guy? Like that not make a good first impression, or
I mean those things could take into account.
Or do you not feel confident that I'll be able to like hold this position? Excuse me. And it could be a number of things, but what I've learned is that especially when it comes to certain jobs in the corporate world, you gotta have connections, man. Because when you get to a certain age and you get to a certain interest in certain fields, if you don't know somebody that's there, it's really difficult for them to be able to like feel confident that you can be in their department. Because what happens, what I learned with my dad going through multiple interview processes is that first what they do is they post the job application within the department. So let's say you and I work at like some department in, for the heck of it, maybe like Apple, you know what I mean? And then there's a new position in that department. It's a little bit higher. It's a little bit higher paying. And what they do is they give people in that department an opportunity to be able to apply for it. You know what I mean? So if they can't get somebody from the inside to move up and get this position, then they open it up to people on the outside. But people on the inside could know people on the outside and connect. The people on the inside can connect people on the outside to let them know, hey, I work in this department. This position is opened up. It hasn't been put maybe out for other people outside of that to get it yet. But I feel like this would be good for you. Once it opens up, I'll let you know. Talk to my boss. You get connected. And it has been like that. So for my dad to even get his job that he has right now, it took a long time, but it took his boss to completely understand that my dad is capable of what he says that he can do. And it took from what my dad had said, this guy was pretty open-minded to pretty much like not necessarily experiment, but he was open to the fact like my dad was old, but he has this ability to do something and he's going to take his chance. And he took his chance and he's like enjoying the fact that like my dad works for him. And my dad hasn't, for all the years that I've known that he's been working, I don't think I've ever seen my dad less stressed, work less. And he just looks like he's hanging out every day, man.
Yeah, I mean, when I went to your house that one time, I saw him. He was chilling.
He's he's chilling every day. Every day.
What is he working at?
So he works for the Verizon headquarters in Dublin, but now he's working from home. So he hasn't been to work since January, and he's not gonna go to work.
What does he do at Verizon?
I don't know what his position is now. I just know that at some point he was a data analyst, but he's probably moved on to do something else, and his position is called something else. He's probably told me a lot, and I just keep forgetting. Like, I mean, I've never wanted. I listen, but like,
in here.
no, it's because it's like too complex. He does a lot of things working with data on a computer, and then right now he showed me before, but right now I don't even know what he's doing.
Okay.
Because he's like so good at it, and it's so very different from what I do that it's just like it's gonna take some time for him to completely explain. Like, he's done it before and I get it, but there are so many other components that are part of what he does that makes it a little bit more complex. And so even with that being said, what I remember it is just like he would go to a lot of interviews, and the only time, well, he would put in a lot of applications, but the only times he actually had interviews were when people actually took a chance to interview him, or he knew somebody in that place that he was applying for, and he reached out to that person. It's like, hey, I'm reaching out for this position, and I know you, so could you put in a word or anything like that, and have somebody know that I am interested and I am qualified.
Okay.
And there were some times where he was able to get an actual interview because somebody like put in a word or something like that. But apart from that, it was pretty much just a lot of back and forth emailing with, they call them recruiters.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a specific company that receives a lot of all these job availabilities, job openings.
Mm-hmm.
And then they reach out to people who put their resume online through their databases, whatever. Yeah. And then so that's how they stay connected.
Was it like ZipRecruiter or something else?
It could have been, honestly. It could have been. But I just remember that there were so many interviews my dad went on, and with full confidence, he knew that everything that they're going to ask him to do, he'll be able to do it. And then they just didn't take him. And then, but so it's difficult though, because for as many times that happened, I'm just like, that's got to be like crushing. But he never stopped. So now he never stopped and kept trying, and now he's in a position where he doesn't even have to do much anymore. Yeah. And it was great to see that. For me, it's great for me to see that for him, mainly because before that he was working so much and having to do so much in a little time.
When he was at Chase?
Yeah, dude, it was not fun for him. Like he would be working. He would wake up early in the morning to work at home, go to work at work, come home. I know. Work at work. Yeah. You go to work, stay there till like 5, come home, work again till like 10. Damn. And this was going on for like weeks.
Damn.
So it was really, it took a lot out of him physically, because he was just like spending so much time handling all these things that other people in his department necessarily didn't know how to do as well as he did. But he wasn't appreciated for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's difficult because you feel like all this workload is on you and you know how to do it, but everybody else necessarily doesn't know how to do it. But you could be getting help, but nobody is like trying hard enough. You know what I mean? Okay. So now he's got all this workload, but now he's just like hanging out every day. That's like good. I remember the first when he was already working from home a couple of days out of the week. Okay. And then we had the quarantine, and now his boss was like, you for sure don't need to come in at all for months. At some point he walked in the kitchen, and then he's like, I am so bored, I can jump out of this roof. And I don't think I've ever heard him say anything like that before, but he just like hopped, and he was just like, I'm just going to just jump out of this roof. Like I have nothing to do. And I'm just like, must be nice. So I've got like 6 hours of teaching to do. And he's just like hanging out. But it's great though. I like to see him.
So in that aspect, you feel like, do you feel personally that as he was applying for these jobs,
right,
the employers were sort of not taking him for the position based on his age?
Age, pretty much. Age and
would they tell him that, or
no? They wouldn't.
Were they implying that?
They weren't telling him that, but I think there was one incident where there was a job that he wanted and he didn't get it, but then he had found out from his friend that somebody younger got hired for that position.
Okay.
Yeah, but what he also found out that he was more qualified for the position, and that guy still got it.
Oh, okay.
So it was difficult, but apart from that, I mean, all the interviews that he went to and stuff like that, like he was fully confident that everything should go well, but he just didn't get picked. But with everything else, as I've been living with him and growing up and seeing the way he goes about making breakthroughs, he's made me understand the power of consistency in anything. You know, if you can be consistent enough and never stop, you're going to make a breakthrough at some point. It's almost like learning, like deciding, okay, I want to learn how to run a mile under 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe you start at 10. You know what I mean? And then you just keep working and working and working. You're going to get to 7 eventually. You know what I mean? So it was something like that happened to him, and I'm very grateful that he has that kind of character, because that's really made me understand how to go about getting better at something that I want to do in general, because I can see how consistency works. And when you do something and you work hard, and if you work out and you do it well and you're putting yourself into the position, then you're going to get opportunities, because that's what he was getting a lot of. He was getting a lot of interview opportunities, but he never actually got an actual opportunity until like that very last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think now that you're talking about that, I think that's probably one of the demographics that are sort of rejected more, I think. Older people.
Yeah.
And when maybe a business wants to hire people, they probably look to the younger people, because
but
perhaps they want to see like someone grow and be like the future of the company, instead of someone that's probably doesn't I mean, I don't want it to sound like me, but someone who probably has like a shorter lifespan now because they're older, and maybe they won't have time to sort of build up the company in some way, unlike a younger person, maybe.
But here's another kind of like double-edged sword. All these companies are trying to hire people with experiences, and young people coming in don't have they were like, we want you to have this job, but we want you to have 4 years of experience, and you just got out of college, and you're just like, what? Where am I supposed to like develop this experience? And so it's like really tricky, and that's where I think that most people that are coming out of college that are able to get a job, they either have like a good connection or their resume is standing out. You know what I mean? Because if you do, like, even for the job that I got, I mean, the job that I have now, I really just planned it out how I wanted to. Like I told myself, well, I wanted to get better at tennis, so I'm gonna quit the job. I was working at Abercrombie before.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a lot of standing. It was not an enjoyable experience sometimes, but I was like, I want to get better at tennis, so I just started working at the tennis club at the front desk, and then from there started teaching the little kids, and then from there now I teach lessons. I do all this other stuff. So honestly, I was like, I'm gonna figure out a way.
You basically work your way up, starting from a lower position, and starting just talking to the people. Maybe you asked something about like teaching a lesson or how you're able to do it. And then you did those things and then ended up how you are now. All these stuff are with connections most of the time. Like even the government positions, you get experience, but then you have to talk to certain people that are going to help you perhaps work with a political figure and something. Then you get experience with them, and then you start working with other people. Then you build like your own little group of people that you know, and then sort of work your way up. Sort of like how like in Ozark, these people that probably had no experience with political
connections, businesses, or getting any type of like laws or permission
to do certain things, like building a casino. They had to sort of go into the political field and talk with government figures. That way they could like sway things their way. But that's how you get things done, I think.
And for our listeners, The Ozark is a really interesting thriller TV show on Netflix. If you get a chance, check it out. But we made that reference mainly because it's just like a really I mean, we both watched it, and there's a certain part where this family needs a way to build this building for income, and the mom of the family has experience in the political field and has represented certain people with their campaigns and stuff. And so as she is like wanting to talk again or work with like political figures, I think she goes through like an interview process where she's kind of like has all this experience and is kind of like denied. But then I forget how she figures out a way to actually
be part of the job.
Right.
But they end up working with this really like famous government figure.
Right.
In order to help them like build this casino.
Right.
And from there on, they have like this relationship where when they need assistance with certain things, politically wise,
right,
he is able to help.
Right. And that's the connections right there. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm excited to keep working and keep getting better at this sport. And I'm excited to see you. I mean, it's different for me. My workplace motivates me to be better at the sport, and you're using your workplace to sort of remind you that you want to get out of there at some point.
Yeah, it's not something that I'm gonna do forever,
right,
and want to do forever. And it was never like the plan to do it the whole time. It's just something that is gonna bring money in for the time being until I find something that I truly like and want to pursue.
Right.
Because I don't think there's really like a specific time where someone figures it out, you know?
Right.
Because I have a lot of things in mind where I want to do and try out and see how it goes. Like this podcast, I mean, we'll see how it goes as we do it.
Right.
I've also been thinking when I get more time to like, since I like playing video games.
Right.
But I only play like certain video games, like maybe 3 out of the year.
Right.
And I mainly play the same ones all the time.
Right.
But I want to dive into games that are really popular and I have never played before. And sort of record my experience with them. And then later on, like do like a review on what I thought and enjoyed about it. Because there's a lot of people that have played like certain games, but I've heard of them, but I've never like played them at all.
Yeah.
And it's been a while since I played like a game that is just me in the game. Because most games right now are like you and your friends and then the game.
Multiplayer.
But I haven't dove into like a game where it's just me. And
yeah, I haven't played video games in a while. I mean, I don't necessarily crave it right now. I think it might be something, maybe once we move into the new house, my parents' new house, I might get a little Xbox. Because I want to put a projector in there. And then put some of my paintings up and then start working on new paintings, new drawings, and use that to necessarily like decorate my room. And then get some workout equipment in there. Because I want to be able to like work out in my room, pretty much like have my room like a studio. Yeah. Like a living studio.
Yeah, that's what I'm planning as well, but I don't know what it looks like inside, so I can't do it. Right. I'm imagining certain things, but I'm just keeping an open mind because if the room is not probably big enough, or I have to like readjust how I see it in my head, how I want just like my game room and like podcast area to be, then it's a little bit hard to do it right now. But hopefully I will figure it out, and that's when I think we're able to have guests. Yeah, how I mentioned before. Right. And hopefully we'll talk about and see what people we bring in, but also like remind people that they're like encouraged to reach out if they want to talk about something on the podcast and stop by and talk about things about their life, or if they have questions about our life that perhaps we haven't touched on throughout like the episodes that we've recorded. Right.
Or maybe we touched on a little bit and it sounds interesting to you. Then you can just for sure just ask away, and we'll find hopefully when we have some time, go through all of them and answer them in depth and be able to answer your question fully.
Yeah, and during the bad times that we've gone through, especially this year, that goes with a lot of people. Moving on forward, it's I think opportunity for growth for everyone. And I hope everyone has the opportunity to accomplish things that they probably weren't able to accomplish before.
Right.
Or have this drive to become a better person.
Right.
During these times that are practically like negative.
Mm-hmm.
And then use it as fuel to create something that's a positive in your life.
Right.
Or something that you've been wanting to do before.
Right.
But really weren't like motivated to do it. And just take all this bad stuff and use it as fuel.
Right.
That way we can all make this this world a better place.
Right.
And hopefully stuff like this starts dying out. Certain issues.
Yeah, certain issues that we're seeing happen very too often will die out. And mostly I think that if everybody is working on being positive and loving people regardless of how they have certain opinions about certain things, then that can just like magnify and be contagious to a lot of people. And that is something that would be beautiful to see. I mean, I'm 23 now, and you're 24.
No, I'm 23.
You're 23. We're going to turn 24 this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're in our early 20s, and we're having to make very tough decisions, like deciding that we're going to work all the time instead of maybe developing something about ourselves that we know that can help us in the future. But these times are requiring that this is what we focus on. And I've been a firm believer of understanding that there's certain times to do certain things. And I think right now is the time for people who are not working and want to be able to afford to do certain things in their future to start working. If there are people who are working, but they want an opportunity to develop their personality, develop their interests, develop their hobbies, they should find something to do these things, because in these times you don't really know what else is going to be able to affect the whole world and affect your job and cut you off from what you're doing. Yeah.
But I think that's it for this episode.
Yep.
Hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of what we talked about.
Yeah. Today was a little bit more on a personal
level, and not too much on the negativity that's out there right now. Right. But hopefully you enjoyed again, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right.
Bye.